Hello my crafty friends, Corinne here from Corinne Crafts. I hope you are well. I hope you are getting to do some crafting. I know this time of year is extremely busy and we can't all get into our craft rooms very often, but I hope you're getting just a few minutes to enjoy. Now, I had a problem. I wanted some glitter card, but I didn't have the colour that I wanted. So I created some effectively. Isn't that beautiful? Can you see how that birthday just glitters? The card is really simple. Oh, and my gem's just fallen out. I'll stick that back in. The card is really simple because I really wanted to make the birthday the focal point of the project. So I'm going to show you now how I put it together. The purpose of this card was I wanted to keep it nice and clean and simple. Didn't want to make it overly complicated, but I wanted to make a sentiment out of some glitter card, but I didn't have the right colour glitter card, so I thought, I know, I'll make it myself. And I'm going to show you how you can use what you've got in your crafty stash and give it a little bit of an adaptation to make it deliver whatever it is that you want it to deliver. Okay, so sounds a bit cryptic. It's not. I'm just going to show you how to make your own effectively glitter card in a minute, but I'll do my card base first so that can be all getting sorted. Now I've got a card topper, multi-purpose even cardstock, 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. I'm going to have it landscape, which is unusual for me, but you'll see why in a minute. So I've gone up just by 3/4 of an inch. You can see I've got perfect 3/4 of an inch border around there to 5.25 by 7.25 inches for my card base. Now the only things I've done on here is I've done a very pale pink border and a very pale and then a white border, as a white layer as well. So really simple. I glued those on last night when I was getting this ready, and then I have put it under my weight so you can see it's lovely and flat. Now onto there I'm going to stick some glitter card. Now I told you I'm going to make some glitter card. Yes I am, but this is some that I already had. So this is in a lovely rose gold, and then my topper is going to sit on there. Now if you haven't got much of the encapsulated glitter, you can always take the center out, stick them together, and then put your foam tape on the back. So we'll stick those on in a minute, but there again are your measurements if you should need them. So this piece here, this is going to be my card topper, and I'm going to come in with a couple of stencils. You know how I love my stencils, and I'm using this one that I always think of as like water splats, and I'm going to pop it onto my card. I've got 2 ink colours and I want them to be really pale. I only want the merest hint of colour back there. So I'm going to get my rose pink and I'm going to get it onto here. I haven't even put my craft mat on. Should I put my craft mat underneath just so that we are semi clean and tidy? And then I'm going to get my ink and put it on it. Now, one thing I have learned over the years is ink doesn't always show through stencils very much. But if I just peel that back, oh yeah, it's there, but it's very pale. So we can just go a little bit darker on this one, but not a lot. Oh, I can definitely see there's a hint of pink there now. And I'm going to just look. Can you see? Doesn't that look amazing? You don't have to go heavy. It can be really subtle and you can get some amazing effects from that. And then I'm going to come over here. Now I'm going to put a strip across the middle, so where these two join is going to be hidden, so we can hide a multitude of sins in there. There we go. I love it. Love that so much. Just a subtle hint. Then I've got a white dotty stencil, so this is much bigger, so I can put it on in one go. And I'm going to come in with my honey pot. Now honey pot is a lot stronger than the pink tulip. You might have different brands of ink, so you just use whatever you've got. And I'm just going to bring that across, diagonally across that way. I can see that straight away is much stronger, so I'm just going to blend it out a little bit to the edges, and then look at that. So I only did one dab of my blender with the yellow because that was all I needed. So that's going to be my topper. Oh, and the other thing I'm going to do now, I've got a couple of different ways of doing this. I want to just put a few splats on, so I picked 2 colours because I was looking for something that would go with the rose gold. So I thought those would, but I've also got some shaker and gilt. Now I was using this when I was doing a Highlight Crafts workshop on Christmas wreath making. We were spraying it. I've done one with these 2. So what I might actually do is just do a bit of the shake and gilt. If it's going to spray, we shall see. So all I'm going to do is just, can you see my hand? Just, I can feel it come in. Come on. No, don't want to spray. So we're going to revert to my tried and tested method of putting it on the end and just giving, I prefer that anyway. But can you see, you've got your carrier and then you've got your mica in there. Oh, I like that. And that to me is, oh, that is a perfect match. Oh, I think we might use that one. Right, so I'm going to put that to dry for a minute while we get on with the next bit, because that looks perfect. Can you see just that little tiny bit of splattering? So let's move that out of the way. Might need that again in a minute. What I might actually do though is stick this piece onto here just so that we've done it. I was thinking about waiting and sticking the other one on, but actually now I want to use that piece that I've just made. I'm just waiting for it to dry a little bit. It'll take 5-10 minutes. That's all it will take. And it will be perfectly dry. There we go. So as always, I'm just going to do a little bit of PVA on the back of there. Just like that. There we go. Flip that over and then we can layer that on there. So I'll show you what else I've cut as well. I've also cut, no, that's not for that, strip. Oh, that was the one I just showed you. This is a strip. It's about 1 3/4 inches wide. I'm just going to put it onto there so you can see. And it is the same. I'm not going to use the white, but you can see it's a little bit narrower than that, but it is the same width as that 4.5 by 6.5 piece. So it's going to sit over the top and then it will just blend in. So I will use that one in a minute. So pop those so that we've done it. I was thinking about waiting and sticking the other one on, but actually now I want to use that piece that I've just made. I'm just waiting for it to dry a little bit. It'll take 5-10 minutes. That's all it will take. And it will be perfectly dry. There we go. So as always, I'm just going to do a little bit of PVA on the back of there. Just like that. There we go. Flip that over and then we can layer that on there. So I'll show you what else I've cut as well. I've also cut, no, that's not for that, strip. Oh, that was the one I just showed you. This is a strip. It's about 1 3/4 inches wide. I'm just going to put it onto there so you can see. And it is the same. I'm not going to use the white, but you can see it's a little bit narrower than that, but it is the same width as that 4.5 by 6.5 piece. So it's going to sit over the top and then it will just blend in. So I will use that one in a minute. So pop those on. So let's leave that to set. And then I want to make my glitter card. So what I've got here is I've got a piece of double-sided foam. You see, this isn't the thickest one, but you've got your double-sided foam there. And all I'm going to do is I found myself a sentiment. Now, all the dies and stamps I'm using today are from Julie Hickey Designs. Purely coincidental, but I do love Julie's designs and I've got quite a few. So I'm going to put that onto there. Let's trim that so I can see how much I need. It's always easier. So I need that much. So I'm going to pop it onto here. I'm going to just make the foam a little tad smaller so I'm not wasting it or it's not hanging over the edge. And then I'm just going to cut it. So I've got white card and then I've got foam. So I'm going to peel off the back of the first side of the foam and I'm going to stick that onto there. And then I'm going to stick my die directly onto the foam, not onto the cardstock. Now it's quite hard to tape onto the foam because you've got the carrier. But I'll try and do the best I can. I could always just go around a little bit because it's not going to cut through. Then I get my die. I don't need a fancy die cutting machine. I can just use my regular die cutting machine, just my small one. Pop that through. So this is a 2-layer die. So we're going to do something a little bit different with this. We're going to do white on white. So I've cut that out of there. So that was the top layer. And it will just cut beautifully. Can you see it's cut it straight through? I don't have to worry at all. So let's peel the die off. This is where the sellotape suddenly decides, yep, I'm going to stick perfectly. Let's take that off. And then all we need to do, sometimes it's easier just to, let's do a cut there and a cut there. And then, you see, I can just peel it away. Now, what you've got to remember is you've got adhesive on here, so it will try and stick. But you can see it. I'm not doing anything but other than clicking it away. It just takes a few minutes to pop out. There we go. It's all cut beautifully. Just because we're going through foam and cardstock, it still cuts. And then I want to cut out these, pop out these centre pieces. There's only a couple of those. So I've got my gorgeous birthday sentiment. Just like that. And the other thing I've done is I've used the outer die. Now this would look lovely in a contrasting colour, but I've just cut it out of white. And you'll see what we're going to do in 1 minute. So what I want to do now is I've just got my one of, have you seen these sticks too? They're just for glitters or anything. I stupidly, years and years ago, decided to do heat embossing in it. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. No idea. And obviously it melted onto there, but it hasn't stopped it working ever. So now I just need to take the other side of the foam backing off. And then we can just take that off. It just takes a little bit more because obviously we've cut the shape out. Yep, just like that. It sometimes rips. And if your sentiment breaks, again, do not get overly concerned about it. This is really sticky. I find it sometimes it's quite hard to get it off your hands when you're doing this. But don't worry, just a little bit of perseverance. There we go. Peel that. I thought I took that centre out of that, eh? Obviously I didn't. Let's just go nice and steady, and then hopefully we can get it all off. There we are. I'm going to lay it down onto there. Don't worry, it looks a little bit wonky at the moment. It's not ready to be stuck down. Now you could do quite a few layers of that if you wanted it really, really sort of, you know, chipboard-esque. And then I'm just going to pour my glitter over. Now, if I had have got a really strong colour cardstock underneath, it would affect. I mean, I've got so many different coloured glitters. I mean, I've got some black glitter, so I could have done it black on black. I've got a lovely red glitter, so I could do red on red. I've got, is this my iridescent? No, I've got an iridescent somewhere. Is that my iridescent? That's an iridescent. So that would have really shown through whatever is underneath. So yeah, you can do whatever you want. I have so much stuff, so much stuff. Right, it's hidden under here. So let's feel. It's not sticky at all now because all the sticky has been coated in glitter. I've just got a little piece, a stray piece there. There we go. There you go. It's not sticky at all. But look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Then all I need to do is tip this up. And then away it goes through there. No worries at all. You can use these trays for beads, for embossing powders, hence how I got that one on there, glitters, anything small that will go through the nozzle that you just want to, you know, capture. So I've got this here, and all I'm going to do now is turn it over, and I'm just going to glue this on to my sentiment. I could also, if you can be bothered, you could put another piece of foam on the back. You could use foam pads on the back. You could just do a flat adhesive, you know, tape on the back before you cut it. There are so many ways in which you can do this. So we can put that like that. I think got my birthday, my outline, and it does come up a slightly different colour. You can see it. So just, and then you can just slide it back to being lovely and straight. How about that? Isn't that effective? I'm just going to give that a little bit of a press. isn't that effect? I love that. So that is just, if you don't have the glitter card, I didn't have any white glitter card, but I wanted white on white. So yeah, do that. Isn't that gorgeous? And some glitter cards don't cut very well, so just use regular card and put an iridescent glitter over the top. Okay, so I said my dies, plural, are going to be Julie Hickey. So the other ones I've used is these. These are fresh floral die set. So you've got the florals in the dies and in the stamp. So I'm going to take this one. I've already cut it out of some white card. There we go. So you can just see I've cut it out of white card, and now I just want to stamp onto it. So all I'm going to do, you can stamp and then die cut. I've decided with these ones I'm going to die cut and then stamp. Dotty tape pen on the back a little bit. Now it is useful to have a coloured piece of card underneath rather than white, because it just helps you with placement. Now I think that is that one. I think that looks like I got that right first time. That's what you have to do, is find that point of reference, pick it up, and it will still pick up because I put dotty tape pen on the back there. I'm going to get my Memento ink pad, which is a water-based ink pad, but is brilliant for using with your alcohol pens, which is what we're going to do. We can pop a little bit of ink on there. We might need to just do a couple of stamps. One. Oh, that looks pretty, but it's just a little bit pale at the moment. You could heat emboss this. That would look really good. And then, look at that. That's fantastic. Take that off. And then all I need to do is just pop that off there. Brilliant. And then I'm just going to colour it. So let me get my mat. I know we always colour normally onto card, but this is going to be so quick and simple. So all I've done is I've got two pens. I've got alcohol pens. I've got gold yellow and I've got pale pink. Yeah, pale pink. So I'm just going to do the centres first. Just going to do all of those just like that. Just dotty round there. And then I can just do the centres. And then I'm going to go to the paler one, and I'm just going to flip up through there a little bit. Can you see how I'm not taking ages, just doing gentle flick marks with my pen. Then I'm going to get my pale pink, and I'm just going to do the pale pink sort of over that yellow a little bit and up to the top. Again, I'm not going right to the ends. I'm just doing flicks. Now, I've only used multi-purpose cardstock with this because I'm not doing major ink blending. If I was doing major ink blending, I'd be using an ink blending cardstock, which I am not. If you've got if you've got some little scraps of ink blending, then go for it. But my multi-purpose is 300 GSM, so it just is a little bit firmer. I didn't actually need to do that yellow at the back, did I? But never mind, I've done it now. Can you see how just do those lovely little flicks? Really, really works. And then I'm going to get the final colour, and I'm just going to do a little bit down at the base. If you think about it, where the flower is sort of tightest and most compact, you're going to get the most colour. Right, so at the moment my colours are very, you know, you can see the different colours. So I'm just going to go over that. Again, I'm going to be shaping this, so I'm not overly concerned about blending because it's all going to blend in. I'm not going right to the end, and it will look so nice for it. Just trying to soften the impact of those flicks. And that is all I'm going to do. Doesn't that look lovely? Really nice. Now, you've seen me do this with these ones before. I love these. So these are a stamp and die set, and they look brilliant like that. But when I'm shaping, I like to have a little bit more movement. So I'm just going to snip down one. And again, don't get too concerned about the neatness of your trimming because we're going to shape it and no one's going to be able to see. Just follow that line. You'll get, it's much easier to shape, less likely to crease as soon as you start to to trim it away. And then we can do that one. And then the final one. Just so I'm not going all the way to the centre, but I'm going a long way towards it. There we go. And some of those ones, they're not always the most neat, but they usually look nice when they're finished. And then all I'm going to do, and I've got another one here, I've done exactly the same, but on this one I've not coloured the centre quite deliberately, because if I'm going to be building them up, I don't need the centre coloured. I'm going to turn them over, and I've got a ball tool somewhere, there we are, and I'm just going to blend. Can you see how the inks come through, because it's multi-purpose cardstock? That's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I mean, that's why we normally put it onto cardstock, so that it can bleed, you know, it's got somewhere to go. But I was doing so little blending, it really didn't hurt. I like to go around the edges, really get into there. Now, I would definitely recommend a metal ball tool when you're doing things like this, because you can really sort of add that pressure and get that dimension. So we can just bend that up and shape it, and then this one, bend it up. Can you see how the fibres are so squashed? And then the last thing I would do is I would bring back here. Now, has this dried? Nearly. I'm going to be gentle with it, but that's nearly dry. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get my same shake and gilt, and I'm just going to do a couple of little taps onto here. Why is it when you tap, look, I've got lots here, why is it not landing on my flower? It always does that. My aim obviously isn't that good. So all I'm going to do then is, I know it's wet, but I can do it very carefully, put a little bit of glue, the one that's not got the colour in the centre, put a little bit of tacky glue in the centre there. Ideally, you'd leave this to dry, but we can't because I've got doing a video. So do the second one on top, slightly staggered. I'm going to get the smallest side of my ball tool. I'm just going to press. I'm just going to hold that for a few seconds. It doesn't need to be long, just a few seconds. Now you might want to put something in the centre of this. We'll see. I might have a think once it's on the card. At the moment there's no plans, but we all know me and plans. Right, there you go. Isn't that a really pretty flower? But not too offensive at all. So let's bring back the card. We've got it here. I'm going to have to be careful with this because there is still a few wet bits. Do I want it that way? I think I might put it that way round. I'm going to put some glue on here. Now, don't use a solvent-based glue because that is a coated cardstock. It's encapsulated glitter. If we use a solvent-based cardstock, solvent-based glue, sorry, I can't get my words out, then it's going to damage that at all. If there's any movement, it could cause some damage. So we can put that onto here. Doesn't that look pretty? Loving that. And then I'm going to bring that piece back in. So you remember it was exactly the same width. So I can put that across there and look at that. It should line up perfectly so it looks like it continues right out. So we can then just put a little bit of glue on there. Let's pop that. I'm going to come just slightly off centre. So it's just come down a little bit. And that's quite deliberate. So let's bring in our birthday. Now, the other thing I did was I got another set. Again, it's another one of Julie's. And oops, let me find it. Found it. There we go. This is another birthday one. I think I bought this when I was at Hobbycraft, NEC. And it's got birthday in a stamp and then happy birthday, birthday wishes, happy birthday to you, birthday girl, birthday boy. So I've just cut out the happy and I'm going to put the birthday on here. Now I want to do the birthday sort of, no, I might do the birthday on there. I was going to do it half on and half off. Now I've used the same foam tape that I use most of the time. Let me have a look. I was going to come off there, but no, I'm going to go in the centre. and pop that like that. That then means I can see where I want to put my happy. Let's see if that's going to come out. Oh, yes it did. Yes it did. Foam pads would work on here as well. That first little squidge was just that little bit too... I could do with that coming up, holding that from that end. I find it so much easier to use tweezers. This is a really clean and simple card, very simple. So then we're going to pop our flower on. Now from this set as well, I just used one of the dies. I didn't use the stamps. There is a corresponding stamp, but I haven't used that. And I've just cut it out of some green. So all I'm going to do, we're nearly there. So simple. Put some glue on here. Pop that on to there. Then I'm going to get my foliage. We're going to do one up here. You know me, I always like a little bit of foliage when I'm doing a flower, and I think I might do the other one down there. Let's just, and the great thing is, as I always say with the 3D glue, you can lift it and move it. I'm just going to lift that up a little bit so we can trap that underneath a bit. Now I think I need a couple of yellow, I'm going to put a yellow gem in the centre of there. Now this is one that I've coloured myself. There we go. Now I've got my yellow pens out, so let's just colour up a couple more. So all I'm going to do is just go over with my pens. I find the brush marker pens are the best. You get the best coverage. And this means that I can have whatever colour gems I want. You'll often see me colouring up gems, and these are just all left over from previous projects. Oh yeah, I like that. That really works, doesn't it? There we go. 3 little gems. Isn't that clean and simple? But I really, really like it. Let me bring it back down so you can see. There we go. What do you think? Really, really clean and simple. But I had a problem I wanted to solve, and the problem was I didn't have the right colour glitter card, so I made it, and that is what I created. How about that? I love the little flecks of Shake and Gilt Cadence one. Yeah, you'll be able to pick that up probably from Highlight Crafts. So there we go. How about that? Oh, I've got a hair stuck. There we go. There we go. Please let me know what you think. We had a problem, but not anymore. We've solved it. That is my way of solving that problem. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to put a link on the left to another video or a playlist, and a link on the right to a subscribe button. As always, there'll be links down in the bottom. I'll link you to how you can find Julie Hickey's products, because they're on lots of different websites, so I'll give you a link to those. And yeah, and I'll be back in a couple of days with another video. So until then, my crafty friends, please comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. I think I'm quite a bit under 50 subscribers away from 7,000 subscribers. And if I could get to 7,000, it would really make my day. That would be brilliant. So if you can take the time to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. But if not, please click on some of the links down below. And don't forget on Facebook to show me what you have been making. I love to see your makes. It really makes me smile when I see you've taken something that I've shown you, made it your own, and put your own little twist on it. So until next time, my friends, enjoy your crafting, enjoy the time of year, and I'll be seeing you all again very soon. So until then, you take care. Bye for now.